Hi, and welcome to Jen and Dan's Natural Healing with Plants. I am alone today. It's just me because I wanted to share a little bit more about my health journey. If you go back and listen to episode 1, that's where I share my health journey and how I got to where I am today. But since then, I have had some health issues. Some I hid from some people, some I did not. And I had some difficulty restoring my health, which as a master herbalist and a nutritional endocrinology practitioner and coach, health educator, it was really frustrating. I felt like a hypocrite. How am I so sick and not able to recover when I am the quote unquote expert, right? Which is kind of where I was at the beginning of my journey. So that's what I want to share with you today. So the last year and a half, I had a lot of health struggles. But before I even get into that, I wanted to tell you that today I am stronger and healthier than ever before. So I'm feeling really great. But I want to tell you what happened over the last year and a half. Just 2023 is where I really started to struggle. So many of you know that I was diagnosed with Graves back in 2006, had radioactive iodine in 2013 after fighting with my doctor, have regretted it ever since, right? And ever since then, I've been making sure that I keep antibodies under control because for those of you who don't know, even if you have treatment for Graves as removing your thyroid, taking methimazole, I think that's what it was called, or radioactive iodine, that doesn't cure it. You still have antibodies. There's nothing, none of those things block the antibodies or stop the antibodies. You still have an autoimmune condition, which I don't want to claim it. So there's still an autoimmune condition involved. And so you have to do things to reverse that. And so your conventional medical doctors will tell you it can't be reversed, but that is simply not true. And so I have been working for years since 2013 to get antibodies under control, keep them steady, and to stay and remain healthy. In 2022, I was picture of health, absolutely, completely healthy. December 2023, my doctor retired. And so I had always believed, so this was 10 years post radioactive iodine, I had always believed that the radioactive iodine didn't really kill my thyroid because what you may not know is it's not the first time that I was given radioactive iodine. The first time my doctor tested it and she said that my thyroid did not absorb it. And she's like, this is really weird. I've never seen this before, but you don't absorb it, which means it passes through you. And at the time I lived in the city and she said that ethically, they couldn't give me the radioactive iodine because all of that radiation would go into the city's water supply. How creepy is that? That is so creepy. So how much radiation is that they can't even let you have it because of what's going to happen? So that is really scary, right? And so I was like celebrating because I had been fighting with her. I really didn't want the radiation anyway. And then I had a car accident and got really sick and just kept losing weight and losing weight. And I was under 100 pounds. I'm only 5'1". And so that's not too low for me, but I just kept continuing to lose it, even though I was eating massive amounts of ice creams and shakes and all kinds of things. And she kept telling me that food and nutrition have nothing to do with it, which I kept arguing with her as well. I went gluten-free. That didn't work. So I went back to eating gluten. I was a baker. And so what I know now is 1 month of gluten-free may not be enough. And gluten-free or AIP may not be enough. And so when I work with clients, most of my clients, they've already tried all the things. They've already gone gluten-free. They've tried AIP. And so they're coming to me because they're like, wait a minute. And so diet is only part of the issue. Now, flash forward to 2023 when my doctor retired. So I was allergic to what they give to people when they have Hashimoto's. So if you have Graves' disease and then you have your thyroid removed or you have a radioactive iodine, the antibodies are still there. You still have an autoimmune disease, but it changes from Graves' disease to Hashimoto's. So instead of being really hyper, you're really sluggish. Things are slowed down. So that's one way I can always tell that I'm feeling really good. I have plenty of energy, lots of energy, and you don't have a lot of energy when you have antibodies for Hashimoto's. That's just everything. Your whole body slows down. And so In 2023, I'm feeling great, but I have to take compounded meds. It's the only thing that has worked for me. I tried all sorts of different things. I went to a functional medicine doctor starting in 2015, and she helped me find one that would work for me, because what they give people when they have Hashimoto's, Synthroid, or levothyroxine, I was allergic to it. I would get big yellow circle over my liver and rashes, and I'd get all itchy. And so I knew I couldn't have that, but I couldn't find a doctor that would not give me that. So in 2023, when my doctor retired, I went, you know what? I already know the radiation did not kill my thyroid, because the first time they tried it, I didn't even absorb it. So the second time, it did knock me into Hashimoto's, but I still have a thyroid. So I started tapering off of my meds because I couldn't renew it anyway unless I found a doctor. So I'm looking for a new doctor. At the same time, I'm tapering myself off of the meds. And around June, so starting in January, around June, I was finally down to maybe 2 or 3 pills a day. I was going very slow, tapering it off, because I really wanted to find a doctor just in case I was wrong. So maybe I didn't have enough faith. I don't know. Anyway, in June, I noticed I was gaining weight, and I never really put 2 and 2 together. The same time, I had just gotten some puppies. So it's like, the puppies had a parasite. We had to treat them. And I was like, maybe I got a parasite or something. So I started doing a parasite cleanse. But I started getting rashes on my body. I started getting leg pains. I call it heavy legs. And I started losing my hair. You can see I still haven't fully recovered my hair growth. A typical sign of Hashimoto's is losing the outer third of your eyebrows. So for those of you watching the video, you can see my eyebrows. And so I'm working on growing those back. So hopefully they will start to come back. Those are hard to come back. Anyway, where was I? So I'm still, I'm down to 2 pills, maybe down to 1. And I started listening to different thyroid functional medicine doctors, and I started ordering some thyroid meds. I won't say which ones they were, but I was taking those, some glandulars, even though they were animal based, and I am vegan. I'm not really vegan for the animals. I'm sorry for all those of you. I love animals, but that's not the reason why I went vegan. I went vegan for health. So I call myself whole food plant-based because I only eat whole vegetables and fruits and things like that, no processed foods. Anywho, I was gaining weight, and I could tell, my chest was getting bigger and bigger. My clothes were getting tighter and tighter, and I wasn't sure how much weight I had gained. I didn't have a scale at home, and I finally decided I'm just going to go to the conventional medical doctor here in town. So in November, this is after tapering meds off from January. November, I went to the doctor, and I had gained 25 pounds since June. I'm guessing since June. So 25 pounds, that's really, really fast. And that is a lot of weight for someone who's only 5'1". And so I was floored. I knew I had gained weight, but I had no idea I had gained that much weight. And I even hid it from the doctor that I had these rashes all over my body. I went that entire summer of 2023 with long sleeves. And I don't know if anyone noticed, I even had to buy a new chef's coat that had longer sleeves because I didn't want anyone to see my arms when I did food demos and food videos. And so I was hiding it from everyone. I didn't even show the doctor my rashes. I just wanted him to test my thyroid and help me get on my compounded meds. The only thing he would give me was Synthroid or levothyroxine. And so he told me I had to go to another doctor. And so I was also really upset because at the time I had higher antibodies. My thyroid levels were in the tank. Like, they were not even the functional ranges. They were way out of conventional range. And so, I was sick. I was really sick. And so I'm still, I'm panicking. They sent me to a specialist, and the specialist wouldn't return my calls, wouldn't return the doctor's office calls. I emailed them. I messaged them. The doctor who did the radioactive iodine, she retired right after she did the radioactive iodine. I think she just did it after fighting with me because she could retire then, right? Anyway, I need to work on forgiveness with her. Anyway, she told me if I tell anyone I had Graves' disease, that they would take me right away because that means I'm a lifetime patient. Ooh, punch in the gut, right? And so I was so upset that these people would not even call me back. And so fast forward, they finally did a month or 2 ago, which is, several months after I went to meet them. Anyway, whatever. Since then, I found another functional medicine doctor in December of 2023, and she immediately put me back on my compounded meds. 2 weeks later, I had already lost 15 pounds. in 2 weeks. And so that tells me a lot of it wasn't weight. I was holding on, a lot of edema, right? And so that was wonderful. I felt so much better. I went on vacation for a week. My rash went completely away, which made me think it's my house, right? Or was it stress? And so something I haven't told you was in 2023, that was the hardest I have ever worked. I was getting up at 5 a.m. and I was working until 8 p.m. 7 days a week. My heart was always racing. I had trouble sleeping, of course, because I would go to bed at 10. I'd get up so that I could work at 5. That wasn't enough sleep. I was getting my family to help me with dinners. I had already assigned all my family members with tasks for cleaning and helping me cook. I couldn't take a break. I didn't go anywhere. I had a lot of family things going on. I was flying to other parts of the country, in just an hour's notice. I was just extremely stressed the entire year 2023 while I was tapering off my thyroid meds. And so no wonder all these things were happening to me. I also did genetic analysis and found that I have all the genes for celiac disease, Crohn's disease, all these autoimmune diseases. And so no wonder I was getting rashes and had these problems, right? And I wasn't doing the things. I wasn't sleeping right. I wasn't taking time to rest. And I wasn't honing in on what I need to do for me. I was focusing on making lots of money so I could travel and take my family to Europe for a week and just working, and working too much. And so I ended up getting really sick Christmas of 2023. So not only I lost the weight, my rash went away, but when I came back to the States, started back into my routine in January, I had a horrible cough. I had brought the cough home with me from Europe and it would not go away. And I'm wondering if I had two illnesses at the same time. But I started doing all the things. I know all the tools. I know all the herbs you're supposed to be taking for this mysterious illness, right? And so I was taking all the antivirals. I was taking all the antimicrobials. I was doing Dr. Christopher's strep throat formula with the garlic and the honey. I was drinking the elderberry, loading myself up with lots and lots of distilled water, taking all the minerals, high amounts of vitamin C, and using, rose hips. And I'll tell you one I didn't do, but I was doing slippery elm and I was drinking aloe and I was drinking a quart of Mullein tea every single day. And the cough would not ease up. It got so bad, I ended up going to get a chest x-ray, which is not me. I'm totally anti-x-rays. You get x-rays if that's what you think you need, but I'm not. I was in so much pain. I wasn't sure if I'd even make it through the night. I went to the doctor and got a chest x-ray and it was clear. And it was like, why do I have this awful cough? My rash came back and it's because I was getting back into work. I was working multiple jobs. I had a job that did not align with me and my goals that I was doing on the side, in addition to my health coaching, in addition to working with clients with herbs and things like that. But one thing that I did start doing is spacing out my clients. I only see one client a day, which only allows me to see 5 clients a week. But I also do a lot of writing. I write for other doctors as well. And so I'm getting into a wonderful routine now where I'm just immersing my whole life into what I love, what is my passion and what is my purpose. And that is teaching people about health and about herbs. So back to my story. So I was taking the Mullein, I was putting slippery elm in my foods, drinking slippery elm tea. I went through everything I could think of. I took Dr. Christopher's new viral formula. Nothing seemed to help. And I was getting so frustrated. And so my new functional medicine doctor, we met, we talked, and she said, you need to take a mycotoxin test that she thinks it's mold. And it's like $600. And I was like, there are other ways, that we can check for mold without doing the test. Since the rash went away when I was gone, why don't I go away again, right? And so I didn't really have to do that because she also told me to go and do another parasite cleanse. Even though I had done a parasite cleanse in the fall, because I suspected the rash was related to parasites, I did a parasite cleanse one way and then immediately did it another way. Because with parasites, they lay eggs. And if you miss something, you have to keep going on. Those eggs hatch and you have to get them. Well, if you aren't thorough enough, and add in all the right probiotics, putting all the beneficial things in there to help fight them off, you can just kind of anger them, right? And so my doctor's theory was that I just angered the parasites. And so here we are, months later, still have the rash, and most of the rash is over on my liver area. My whole torso was itchy, my arms were itchy. And so she put me on 2 different parasite cleanses at the same time, and we just amped it all up. And if I go back to the School of Natural Healing, one of the first things you do with anyone with a chronic illness, medical disclaimer, I am not a doctor, I'm not diagnosing or treating, I'm not telling anyone on here to do this, but one of the first things at the School of Natural Healing, what they would recommend is you start everyone on a parasite cleanse. So even though I had done it, I needed to do it again. And so we hit it hard, and did a parasite cleanse. And, I was 2 months into the parasite cleanse in 2024 when I finally started seeing relief. My cough started going away. And I also, at the same time as I started that second month, started adding in marshmallow root. It was something that I knew I needed to do. I couldn't find my marshmallow root. I was having trouble finding it. I always look for nice, good, reliable sources. I like to buy from Holistic Botanicals because I toured their facility. They are the ones who have helped create the guidelines for safety with herbs and herb management and handling. And so I really trust them. And so I couldn't get it from them. But I do like Mountain Rose Herbs. So my first choice is Holistic Botanicals. Mountain Rose Herbs is my second choice. And Mountain Rose Herbs is my first choice if Holistic Botanicals doesn't have something. And I have that close connection with Holistic Botanicals. So look at Mountain Rose Herbs. That's another excellent. And then there's some great tinctures you can get as well. But I wanted the roots. I didn't want the powder. I wanted the roots. And I finally got it 2 months in and started drinking that. So I was having 64 ounces of marshmallow root with my Mullein, still doing all the things and the deep parasite cleanse. 2 months in, my cough finally went away. And people were telling me they thought I was just going to cough the rest of my life because I had been coughing for 2 months straight, and it was coughing so much. I couldn't do my cooking videos anymore. I couldn't do recorded videos on several of these podcasts. I was hitting mute all throughout whenever Dan was talking. But finally, I have recovered. Now I had to go back to all the things I knew I should have been doing in 2023. So not only do I need to be eating high amounts of mineral-rich foods, lots of minerals, I need to make sure I'm not eating any inflammatory foods, which I don't. All of you can look at my social media posts and see what I eat every day. High rainbow, right? High whole foods, rainbows, nutrient-dense foods. But with that, that's not enough. It's self-care. Taking time to exercise appropriately every day, not training for marathons, doing what is right for my body. For me, yoga and stretching and strength training and walking, those are the best ones for me. We're all unique. You have to find what is best for you. But I was finally able to lose a lot of the body the water weight that I was holding on to. I had a lot of edema. My lymph nodes were really swollen, and I finally was able to get my weight down to its starting point. And I just feel so much better. So good. But I also had to incorporate, rest throughout the day. I'm still only seeing one client a day with my writing and doing what I love. I let the job go that was really holding me back, and I'm making sure that I get plenty of sleep. So before, where I was working at 5 a.m., now I don't even get up before 6 a.m. I don't allow myself to work until 8 a.m. at the earliest. Usually I don't even start working until 9 a.m. And so I am still bringing in the money that I want to bring in, right? But I am managing my life. I have now dedicated at least one day a week where I don't even look at a computer. I'm just completely with family and doing things that I love at least one day a week, where last year, 2023, I was working 7 days a week for how many hours? I mean, that was insane, right? Some days I went to 10 p.m. I mean, I really worked myself to the bottom of the pit, right? No wonder I got so sick. Anyway, I just want you to know, I was sharing my story because I want you to know that sometimes we have to go beyond the herbs. We have to go beyond the nutrients. We have to, we're this comprehensive body. We have multifactorial. We have just all these different things. And we have to have a positive attitude. We have to know we can get better and feel better. Know the people that we're working with. We can help them. We can inspire them. And we can show them that we can live in a way that nurtures our body, in our mind, in our soul. We have to make sure that we are using the herbs that provide all the nutrients and provide these medicinal qualities, but we also have to embrace the world around us. We can't just live for one little thing. We have to make sure that we're looking at community. We're building relationships. We're getting movement and exercise. We're going outside and enjoying the sun and nature, and we're taking time out as well as sleeping. So I just want to share that with you today. I hope it inspires you. If you have a healing story, if you went through a major health struggle, even though you were already doing the things, right? So I knew in 2023, I wasn't taking care of myself, but I was just working so hard because for me, I just really wanted my family to go on this trip, and I just wanted to be able to go debt free. And I was just working way too hard. It was ridiculous, right? When I go back and think about it, it's like, why was I doing that to myself? But now I know, don't do that. Don't do that. Do everything in love. Do everything in love. Anyway, please comment. If you liked this episode, let me know. If you didn't like it, let me know that too. I always want to hear from you if this inspired you. If you have gone through something similar, I definitely want to hear from you. But please subscribe to our channel and share with us. And I'm going to get Dan to do a personal story as well. So maybe that will be in our next episode. I'm not sure, but we'll see. But anyway, I hope that you will join us next week and share. I love all of you. Goodbye.